So welcome to our channel. I just wanted to do a precursor here for this video. I actually made these videos, this very first one, and the next about 6 weeks worth of videos I have before my husband decided he wanted to do this with me. He'll be joining me in about 2 weeks, and so I just wanted to kind of just add this precursor so that you all know that this is just when I first started the carnivore, and I wanted to kind of create a new channel that really encompasses just both my husband and I, because we want to kind of do this more long term together. And so the next I don't know how many videos, maybe 7, 8, 9 videos or so, you're going to see just me, and then he's coming out to work with me out here in California, and we're actually going to do the videos together, and he's going to start his portion, his start of the carnivore diet. So you'll get both perspectives from both of us, male and female, and we're in our 50s, so if that helps anybody, we really want to help other people on their journey. Hi, and welcome to my carnivore diet journey. I want to start chronicling my journey in real time, and I want to be able to hold myself accountable by posting these videos, because I don't really have an accountability partner. That was one of the things that people talk about when you start researching the carnivore diet, is having to have an accountability partner when things get tough. And I don't really have that. I've got, obviously, friends, I got my husband, I got my kids, but in all honesty, it's my own personal journey, and I know my husband will be on board with it eventually. He did try it himself actually at one point, but wasn't doing it right. He kept saying, well, dairy's allowed, and kept drinking all this milk and wasn't really losing much. And so I had done some research and told him that he really shouldn't have milk, and he didn't listen. And but that's okay. I've done my own research significantly over the last, I would say, 2 to 3 months. I've been really looking into this. I did try it briefly, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. It was sometime last year, and I think I lasted 3 or 4 days, and the only reason I didn't keep up with it was I don't think I was eating enough fat, and I think for whatever reason, it was really hurting my liver. I really hope that doesn't happen this time. I do have a fatty liver. I've had was told I needed a liver transplant, I want to say way back, oh gosh, my baby girl was 18 months old, and she's going to be 20 in a few months. So I would say about 18 and a half years. I refused to get the liver transplant, started some herbs, things like milk thistle, and that really helped calm my liver down. I did try eating healthier, and I tried all sorts of healthier eating ways, from the Maker's Diet to keto to you name it. I've tried it, and I have had a lot of success with the Maker's Diet in the past, but unfortunately, as I've gotten older, that's just, it's no longer as successful for me, and it seems to be harder to do, especially with working. When I did it originally, I wasn't working, and I had lost close to 100 pounds. It was about 90 pounds, and I kept it off for many years. But then I got sick again, not with my liver, but with my skin, and that's another whole video about my health journey, because I have significant issues that I've had since I was a kid. And like I said, I've been very sick for most of my life, and been thankful to have a very supportive husband who's helped me through it all. And I've gotten myself healthier on my own because doctors failed me. And the caveat to this, and the funny thing is, I'm actually an ER nurse. I can do ER medicine just because, certain circumstances, you break your bone, you're in a car accident, you have an anaphylactic reaction. I believe in all that stuff. I just don't believe in the let's dish out pill after pill after pill every day for blood pressure and things like that. I believe that there are ways to help your body even with genetic disposition or predisposition, the genetics can harm people as well. And I just, I wish people would give this diet a try. The anecdotal stories and even the new research coming out is very promising. And so I wanted to start it myself and hopefully do it right this time and not hurt my liver. And that's my only thing, is I really want to be very careful. For me, I already know the signs of my liver kind of turning bad, if you will. And that's only just from my previous experience with liver issues and also a nurse. So for me, it's when my urine turns super dark and my stool actually turns very light. And that's when I know my liver's in trouble. And that's only happened a few times in my life. And so what I'm going to start doing is adding some milk thistle drops to my water and just see if that helps. But I'll only do that if I need to, if I notice those symptoms. But for right now, I want to keep this as strict carnivore as possible. So in my research, I just wanted to say that my inspiration videos, I've watched plenty of videos, but the two channels that I've really been on board with and watching very closely are the Dr. Ken Berry, and he's very popular in the carnivore community, and the Williams table. And they are very inspirational with their story and their journey. And so I kind of want to just tell my journey, because I do know that people's journeys and their, can bring other people to be inspired and to try it themselves. Because, it is something worth trying. But I would definitely, from a medical standpoint, recommend that if you are on any medications, if you're sick with anything, to make sure you discuss it with your doctor, or follow even a naturopathic doctor who can help you through that journey. Especially if you're on blood pressure pills, especially if you're on other medications, you're going to need to taper off some of them. Some of them you can quit cold turkey, some of them you can't. So you got to be very careful. And that's, not necessarily advice, that's just common sense. And always talk to your doctor regarding your medications, or even a pharmacist. So the Williams talk about, really writing down your why. Why are you doing this? So you can always go back and say, when you're having a bad day, look at your why and say, yes, this is what I'm doing it for. For me, it's very simple. Lose weight and improve my health. I've already improved my health dramatically in the last 30 years, but I have a long ways to go. The weight is adding to so many other issues. I fixed a lot, but I still have other ones that just aren't seemingly fixed. I have done gluten-free, and that has helped in some regard to, say, joint pain, but it takes a couple months and the joint pain goes away. But just still having some sugar in my life, I know that's bad. And I'm an all or nothing kind of person. So black and white, just OCD sometimes. And so having a very restrictive diet is actually going to be easier for me. And I know that sounds silly, but it is. It keeps my life simpler, especially since I work a lot. So in my other why, I did add this here in my journal, because I did get a journal. It says to be able to be more active with my family. I've taken my girls hiking out here in Yosemite, and it's amazing and wonderful, but I've had a couple of falls, and I tore my rotator cuff after one fall, and that was quite a few years ago. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm doing this for. So to go back, there are other things I want to fix that I wanted to just write down, and I wrote this all down so I can go back and say, oh yeah, I fixed this. This is all now done. And I have a list, probably about 10 or 12 things on it. But some of the major things that right off the top were fatigue. I do not have anywhere near as much fatigue as I used to. I wouldn't say my fatigue is chronic anymore, but I do have some fatigue that's kind of linked to some depression. But my depression is also situational, and I'll explain based upon my current situation in life. Muscle aches, especially my hips. I go to sleep. I can't lay on my left side for too long because then my left hip really starts hurting. I got to flip to my right. I wake up, my right hip's hurting. So my left hip is worse than my right, but they both hurt. Not when I'm walking and up and moving, but just actually when I want to go to sleep, it makes it a little more difficult. Menopause symptoms. I am 53. Oh gosh, how old am I? 50. I'll be 53 in a few months. I'm 52, and started probably a year ago. I started with the first missed periods and things like that. Not really a lot of hot flashes, maybe a couple here and there, especially when I'm at work, running around. It's like, oof, got really hot there for a second. I would say I've only had like maybe a handful of actual hot flashes where I would start sweating and it's like I would get really super hot. But I was able to keep those actually at bay with some soy milk. The estrogen in the soy seems to help with that. So I don't know how this is going to affect my symptoms. And we'll see, because I don't have anything horrible. I don't have cramps. I don't have as many mood swings. So it's not a big fix. It's just, I kind of want to just be done with, going through the change and just get to the other side, I guess, without any other problems. And with that, my dental inflammation, I've always had gum disease and don't take care of my teeth as well as I should. Because I've had some trauma related to being at dentist's office when I was a kid with root canals, things like that. That's one thing I want to see down, is just the inflammation in my teeth. I have minor eczema flares now. Eczema was a really big deal for me, and I will explain in another video about my major health issues, but my eczema definitely I want to see down. I also have tinnitus. I don't know if it's going to help with that, the ringing in my ears, but who knows? I'm hopeful. Varicose veins, hemorrhoids, ADD, not completing tasks that I set out to do. That's just normal for me. That's my life. And thinning hair. My hair started thinning, especially around COVID, after I got COVID, and then I've tried some essential oils that actually helped, and some rice water shampoo bars really helped with getting my hair to grow back, but it's still very thin, and I just feel like, I don't know, it shouldn't be as thin as it is, but it is. So that's the majority of what I'm looking to fix. Obviously, my liver enzymes, last couple times I've gone, they've been right on the border. So, I'm going to really try hard to get that under control. And so my life situation is making this kind of easier to do right now, because I'm by myself. I am a travel nurse. My husband and I are both traveling nurses, and we've traveled all over the country. We took off again. Our daughter was 18 months old is when we took off. I was really, really sick with my liver, and we went to search for answers around the country. And so that was back in 2000, I want to say beginning of 2007. We headed from New York. We're from New York. We went to Arizona, and then we just traveled for 10 years with the kids. And I went back to work after about 5 years of, getting myself healthy. And that was, like I said, with the Maker's diet, which was all natural. And I kept that weight off for quite a long time. And I got sick again back in 2013. And then I was on and off work for a couple of years, depending on how I felt. And I gained that weight back afterwards. So anyway, I've not been able to lose this weight since, I want to say the weight piled on really like 2014, 2015. Just with having to go back to work, being stressed about my skin issues and being still sick. Building a house out in Kentucky. We bought acres out in Kentucky. And so we were still traveling, still trying to work on that. And then with jobs in Kentucky they don't pay as well as what we need to start our farm. We wanted to start a farm, and we bought about 70 acres, thereabouts. So out in the middle of nowhere, which we really like. But on and off, I've had to travel, or my husband's had to travel to make better money. That's usually either New York or California. And so currently we have animals on the farm. So he stays close to home because I don't like to do all the farm work. So he works 3 days a week, sometimes in West Virginia, or wherever he can get a closer travel assignment. And then we'll, travel back once in a while, check on the animals, fill their feed bins, things like that. And for me, I'm out in California. I was home working in West Virginia last year for about 6 months. And then I came back out to California, which I've done pretty much every winter for the last 3 or 4 years. And the money's pretty good out here. I've made a lot of good friends, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the weather compared to Kentucky during the wet season. Kentucky gets a lot of rain, snow, cold, which is not bad. It's not that I don't like that. It's just, obviously, if I'm going to travel and make money, having the nicer temperature is nice. So I'm out in California. I'm in the valley. I actually started losing weight prior to this carnivore journey. So my whole thing is I'm going to come out to California and I'm going to work on myself. I tried that last year. I did lose some weight. And then I go back home, spend time with my family and my husband, and go back to my bad eating habits with them and gain the weight back. So now I really have to find something that I can stick with. And this is doable, like I said, because it is so restrictive. It's actually easier in my opinion. And because my husband's tried it, I can hopefully go, see him in a few months and show him, hey, I lost all this weight and I did it the right way. And so to try to get him to really help with his health as well. But anyway, so right now I'm out in California and enjoying the weather. And I did a lot of walking. I actually would walk to work, which is almost 3 miles. It was like 2.7 miles one way. And so I've lost, I think I started at 229 pounds, and I am 5'5". And I am currently, this morning, I weighed 213.8. And that's the start of my journey. That's just my weight for, the start of the carnivore. But like I said, I already lost 15 pounds. And that's just from just trying to eat better, going gluten-free. Sometimes I cheated. And really intermittent fasting every so often, and just all that walking. And I work a lot. And when I'm at work, I walk a lot. As an ER nurse, I put in about 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day just at my job in a 12-hour shift. So when I would walk, I would almost get like 22,000 steps. About 2 to 3 days a week I would walk. I do work, though, minimum of 4 days. So I work 48 hours a week, minimum, sometimes 60. And I have the energy for that, obviously. 10, 15 years ago, I would not have had the energy to do this. So, and that's just, great that I have been able to improve my health. But like I said, now it's time to take it that one further step and get the weight off and get this on and off fatigue, depression to go away. the muscle aches, and just all those little things. And like I said, I just want to be able to enjoy my time with my family. My daughter's coming out in about 1 month to go. She wants to go out and see Yosemite, and I want to be able to hike and keep up with her. So that's kind of my goal, is to really find that energy, find the will to do that. So that's what I'm doing, and so I will try to write everything down at least once a week minimum, and to do videos minimum once a week or once every 2 weeks, so I can really go over all the changes that I see and anything that may pop up. And again, I've been doing tons of research, so I'm hoping to be able to share these other people's journeys as well, because like I said, they're very inspiring. And I hope that, if you, wherever you are in your journey, that you find, better health as well.